Welcome to the Training Them Wisely podcast. I'm very excited to welcome Laketa today to the podcast. She is a clinical herbalist with a strong foundation in public health and education. Her journey into herbalism began out of personal necessity. While working as a new educator, Laketa found herself frequently ill. Discovering the healing power of herbs not only transformed her own health, but also ignited a passion to share her knowledge and expertise with others. As the founder of Lady K's Herbal Solutions, Laketa empowers children and families with practical, everyday ways to use herbs. Through hands-on workshops and dynamic presentations, she creates engaging, accessible learning experiences that demystify herbal wellness and promote lifelong habits of natural self-care. So welcome to the show, Laketa. I am so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So this is a slightly different topic than what we talk about a lot of times, but I think health is important. Health is important so that we can serve God better. God gave us these
Yes,
plants, He gave us these
absolutely.
herbs. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm excited to talk to you about it. So for families that are looking to incorporate more natural habits into their daily routine and they don't
Mm-hmm.
know quite where to start, what suggestions do you have for them?
I always say start small. So as a family, choose one thing that you want to focus on for the month. Um, and maybe have like a family night where you're working with whatever that thing is. So for example, if you want to change the juice that you drink and try another alternative as a family, um, choose some fruits that you like. I like to make fruit teas. They're just as flavorful and good and cheap. Um, no additives. You control everything. And sometimes I have my little cousin with me, and we'll actually decide on the fruit and make it together. So start with one thing and then take your time with it. Um, it takes time to learn these things. So it should be something that's fun, that doesn't feel like you're pressured, and something that's not going to cost a lot of money. Use what you have. A lot of the spices and herbs in your cabinet, you can just take those out and experiment with them. So choose one thing. You can get a resource that might give you more information about that thing, and then have fun with it. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah, and that's a really simple idea to just switch from maybe a
Mhm.
sugar-filled juice to doing something a little bit different that can
Yes,
make a difference in the
absolutely.
amount of sugar your kids
Mhm.
are getting. Because I know for me personally, my children on sugar, there's a difference. I've got
Yes.
four boys and three girls, but the four boys, I really see a difference with the sugar in them.
Uh-huh. Yes,
So
absolutely. And you get used to it after a while. You don't want the option with all the sugar in it.
that
So,
is so true. We did not eat sugar for 5 years because one of my sons did not do well with sugar whenever he was younger, and he actually did not feel good and asked to not have it. And I wish we never would have started back, honestly, because it had become something that we were used to, that even if I were
yes.
to get a bite of something, I was like, whoa, that's too much. But because
Mm-hmm.
whenever you start getting used to eating just fresh fruits, it's a crazy just how much of a dessert
Yes.
they taste like if you're having
Yes,
sugar
they
in your diet.
absolutely, that is so true.
So,
Yeah.
herbalism, you've written a book helping kids learn about herbs. Can you tell me what herbalism is?
So, herbalism is the study of the medicinal properties of plants.
Mhm.
So, you can take as I mentioned before, the spices in your cabinet, they all have some type of medicinal or healing property. Um, and it's amazing how much we have around us that we just don't know that we can use for those purposes. And that's my goal, is to let families know, this was part of our heritage just as a people. It doesn't matter what background you come from. Our great grandparents,
Mhm.
those before them, all had to rely on the earth to help heal them. We didn't have pharmacies and pills and things like that. So the herbalism is something that I always say, this is what God has given us to use. Um, I know there's sometimes like a negative connotation because it's associated a lot with new age and things like that. But the plants are what God has created. I
Yeah.
mean, you can literally go outside of your home and there's stuff everywhere. But if you don't know, how do you know that you can use that? And it's cheap, it's free, and it can be healing and just as impactful. So that's my goal, is to let families know what kind of wealth they have around them. We're so rich in resources, but you don't know, how can you use it? So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. We go to the farm, my parents' farm, quite often, and my kids, because we had rabbits there, they had to learn what all the different weeds were and started researching them. And it's amazing to see the ones that we had, like even if they got stung by a wasp, using plantain on it as a poultice
Yes.
to help draw that
Yes,
out
that's
and how
right.
much it can relieve the pain. And it's growing wild all around where we are.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's really neat. And I love how you're talking about it's very accessible whenever you're doing it one step at a time. You're not talking
Mm-hmm.
about coming out and spending a ton of money here. You're talking about pulling stuff out of your spice rack, going outside, looking
That's
around and
right.
see what you have. That's very attainable for families.
Mm-hmm.
And
And it makes it fun.
it does. And God made those plants for a reason. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's health in plants. And my great grandmother, she was part Cherokee Indian and she knew so many things about herbs and taught my mom
Mm-hmm.
about them and then was able to continue teaching that to us. And I just think it's made in a way that God actually created it as well, which makes it, yeah.
And just to talk about that, when you learn about the properties and you see what part of the body they affect and how they have the same characteristics of that body part, it is like you just can't come up with that stuff,
Yeah.
like I think about okra, for example, and how it's soothing to the belly and how it has a mucus with it that helps soothe the belly. Like that's so you kind of know, okay, if it has that characteristic, it's going to be soothing to something. Um, so it's just amazing, like all the things, just how intricate and creative. Just sometimes I'm just in awe because I'm like, really? This has this character that makes sense. This part of the body needs that. It makes sense that that plant, we call it doctrine of signature because it's like it's name, print, or signature of the plant that tells you this is who this plant is. So it just makes me so happy. Sometimes I know I sound, when I'm describing it to people who are not into this, they're like, what in the world? But when I see something that I'm learning about on the side of the road, or I go into like a spice shop, I am in heaven. It just makes me so happy. And I just want to share that with everybody. So, yeah, it's just
I love that.
amazing.
I can feel the joy as you're talking about it coming through.
Yeah, so it's just very important to me for families to know about this. And what a way to build relationship also, because you're learning something new together, you're doing things together, and that just makes it even more precious.
Yeah, because we talk all the time about building relationships, and this is another way that you can build relationships with your kids and be pointing towards a
Mhm.
common goal. So, why do you think it is so important to teach kids and families about herbalism?
So, the kids are who are going to be here after us.
Mhm.
So, and I find that it's easier when you're learning this as part of your lifestyle to maintain it and incorporate it. It's not as overwhelming because you've learned it so much as a child that it becomes second nature. So if oh, my stomach is hurting, let me just grab a piece of ginger and make me a tea. That's not off-putting for a child. It's like exploration. So developing that skill set and then building on it as children get older, it becomes their lifestyle.
Yes.
So, and it's easy, like just like you have kids who can really pick up on foreign languages when they're younger and they can just build and it seems to come easier. Children is where is that? Like, we're not going to be here forever, and they need to have that skill set and knowledge passed on to them so that they have it as they grow older. And that's something they can hold on to.
I agree 100%. I think it's so important that we pass that on and that we're able to have that. I mean, we want our children to be healthy, right? So that they
Mhm.
can go out and serve, and we want them to have that knowledge and we want them to be able to do it. So you have written some resources that
Yes.
kids can use and that families can use. So show us your resources, talk to us about that.
Right. So I have another one here. So this is a book that I wrote. I'm an herbalist, easy herbal recipes for children. And it takes just a few spices that we're familiar with, thyme, oranges. It includes fruits and vegetables also, onions, garlic, and it gives you, I'll show you a little bit in the book. It just gives you a little background on that herb or vegetable. And then there's a simple recipe that you can try as a family. And the target was kindergarten through fifth grade, but I wanted it to be so simple that you basically pull what you already have in your kitchen, and a 5-year-old can follow along and do it themselves. And that makes it not as intimidating. And then there's space in the book where you can create your own recipes based on what you've learned. I also include the resources where I got the information from in the back, so that's another way to help build your library with more resources and things like that. So it's just a really simple read. I made the letters extra big so that it's not, oh my gosh, all these words on a page. It's just very approachable for children, and also for that family member who wants to try it, but they just don't know where to start, what to do. So that's one resource.
And I love
Um,
that you include fruits and vegetables in it because
yes.
there's so many people that ask about how you can get your kids to eat fruits and vegetables. And whenever you're
Mhm.
telling them about it and you're getting excited about the fruits and vegetables, I can see why that would help. It's like my kids, whenever they see
Yes.
things in the garden, they're more likely to eat them. Whenever they read about them and how they're important to their health. And you want your kids to eat them, and not all kids naturally eat fruits and vegetables. So I think that's great you included those as well.
Yes. So that's the book. And then I'm currently working on a curriculum for kinder through fifth grade, but also it's simple enough to where anybody can do it. It covers the basics of herbal medicine making, so salves, tinctures, teas, even like medicinal oils, and most, if not all, of the spices I focus on come right out of your cabinet. So once again, you're not spending a lot of money to start out. And it's just a lot of fun activities that you can do. You can do it in a few days, or you can do it over a few weeks. It's you just take your time with it. So those are some other things that I'm working on. And just trying to make it more accessible and just approachable, not as intimidating. So if a 5-year-old can do this, anybody can do it.
And I looked at the
Um,
books at a conference. I met Laketa at a conference and I thought that it was adorable. I loved her book. And so, yeah, I think it's very approachable and very doable for all ages. And I think it's a helpful thing for families to use. So, where can they find your resources? Where can they find you? Do you have, I know we're going to put links in the show notes, but just tell people where they can find you on here.
so I am on both Facebook and Instagram. So Facebook is Lady K's Herbal Solutions. Instagram is Lady K Herbal Solutions. And then my website is ladykherbal.company.site, SITE. So you can click on either of those. The Instagram page has a link tree attached, so it has everything in one place. If you prefer to go to the link tree and not have to click on all of that, it'll take you to everything. So yeah, you can find me in those places.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us and telling us about it. And I hope that you guys do start to incorporate some herbs and go check these things out. You can follow her on Instagram, check out her website, look at the link tree there. While you're on Instagram, follow Training Them Wisely as well. We'd love to have you as
Yes.
well. And I just encourage y'all to get into the kitchen and build those relationships, build those healthy habits with your kids and with your families.